a good, fair hearing and hear the facts and continue to move through the process. Senator Rogers, glad to have you with us today. Appreciate your hard work on this legislation.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and members of the committee. I appreciate the opportunity to be here today. The discussion, of course, is centering around Senate Bill 529, which is what I believe to be a comprehensive attempt to deal with the impact of illegal immigration and how it affects the state of Georgia.
All we need to do is tell the stories of our parents, of our friends, of those we know. We just have to repeat the true human story. We understand the motivations for why people want to come to the United States and work. They're not here because of the work. They're here because of the dream. They're here because of something much larger than poultry, much larger than textiles, much larger than construction, much larger than anything. They're not here to take, they're here to give. And they're here to give because they're giving for their children. They're giving for their children's hopes and dreams. When we start today with the American anthem, we're talking about that dream. And those people over there, they don't have that dream. They want to keep that dream away. They don't want you to talk about the dreams of people. They don't want you to talk about hope. They don't want you to talk about people with a first name, with a last name, with a child. They don't want you to talk about the blood of human beings because they want to dehumanize people.
There's something that we have to understand undocumented workers and what they are doing here. We have to understand that people is here just looking for a job. These people are here because they are forced to leave their countries, because they don't have another way to survive, to find a job. And this is the reason that they are coming here. They are not happy leaving their land. They are not happy leaving their family there. They are not happy living in their country origins, their traditions, their culture. No.
The INS, I'm not saying who, but a high officer of the INS called me one day and he said, Teodoro, we are not going to be doing any enforcement from here, which was the beginning of 94. From here until the end of the Olympics, there will not be any immigration enforcement. And I said, great, that's great. And he says, you understand why? Because we want to present a nice face and we want to be courteous to the guests, the international guests that are coming. And I said, that's not true. I mean, I've been reading the papers just like you have, like everybody has. And basically there was this big yell in the media of saying, Atlanta is going to be a failure. And I'm sure that you want people to come and work. I said, well, yeah, in fact, if you could pass through the grapevine that they're very welcome and that we really need them here, that'd be great. So basically, it was an invitation for people to come and help build the city and help turn it into a truly international city. They have created a double standard of wanting the labor, wanting the capacity of generating the economy of this country, and then not being accepted as a fact, denying it, and then attacking our people to trying to get rid of them.
The leadership in the legislature had indicated that they wanted to pass something to deal with the issue of illegal immigration in the state of Georgia. It was brought in an election year because it is another wedge issue. It was done with the intention of curbing illegal immigration to the state of Georgia, trying to make Georgia a less hospitable place for immigrants. First and foremost is putting Georgia in a position to where it's going to begin enforcing federal immigration law. It's going to be a very costly endeavor in order for Georgia to implement this in a way that does not discriminate based on ethnicity. It sets up a process for every level and arm of government in the state of Georgia to verify immigration status in order to receive any kind of public benefits.
The ramifications long-term, politically but also economically, I think are disastrous. Undocumented workers are doing work that is necessary and important to the economy.
We, on April 10, was kind of a wonderful demonstration of the capabilities of our community, and the main reason is that we decide not to be invisible anymore. you know? If I am here, let's deal it. We want to be part of the solution, not part of the problem, you know? And we were asking to Governor Perdue not to sign the 529, but also we are looking forward to a comprehensive immigration reform.
It also does bring a sense of who we are as a nation, who we are as a state. Where do we want to go? Is it just for us? Is it moral for us to do what we're doing? Here we are, very heavily reliant upon immigrant labor, and at the same time we're erecting every single barrier that we can for these immigrants that are providing the much needed labor, for them to fully engage in our community. It's not right what we're doing. It's not right to only look at the immigrants as the problem. The bigger problem is that our federal government once again has failed us.
They are looking to reach in some ways the American dream. Many of them have reached that. But for many of our community, many people of our community, sometimes to be here is like the American nightmare. They are target of many kind of abuses as a consumers, as humans, rights, civil rights, legal rights have been abused in several ways, in many ways, you know? And what, like they say all the time, is like, you know, I am not a criminal, I am not a terrorist, I am a dishwasher and I am proud of.
Our story is the truth. The truth is that we recruit people here. We bring them here. We need them. Yeah. That's the truth. The idea that there's taking and stealing is not the truth. The idea that the law is more important than the human story is not true. And so it's up to us, ordinary people, to take back the story and to tell the story in human terms, because it's a human saga. And it involves real people, real lives, real children, real women, real jobs.
They know that it's going to be at federal level. So what they're doing is, one, for electoral purposes. We are the best instrument for electoral purposes because we have no vote, we have no voice, and we have no way of reacting politically, but we can react economically.
Politicians, more than anything else, want to stay in power. And if you understand that axiom, then you understand that this anti-immigration legislation is designed to keep them in power in the short term. But I think there's going to be long-term problems with their approach, because intolerance is not a formula for long-term political growth.
Then they're changing the standards and saying, well, they don't pay taxes, they don't pay Social Security. And it's not true. We do pay. We pay taxes when we buy something, we pay taxes when we rent a house, when we buy a house, when we buy a car. But also we pay taxes with from our labor income by it being retained by the employer. Social Security declared that $7 billion with a B went into the coffers of the Social Security last year, and that went with false or wrong Social Security numbers. Basically what that means is that people were paying Social Security with a false Social Security card, basically just to survive and to be able to work. So $7 billion went in. I think that pays for a lot of health.
Our job is to care for patients. Our job is to take care of the needs of the sick and to protect our families, to protect our communities, and to protect the health care in this state. This bill, as it is written today, will not do that. If a law is passed in this state that tells our fellow physicians and nurses and public health workers and medical personnel to turn their backs on people, they will have no choice and no other option but to come to the emergency department, often with advanced disease, with terminal cancer, with severe emergencies, pressing an already severely pressed system on which every one of us depends, insured and uninsured, immigrant and non-immigrant, adult and child. We all depend on that system. Pushing that system to and beyond its limits is not good for anyone in this state, whether they are a new arrival or whether they have been here for generations. Denying access to health care hurts people, it hurts families, it hurts communities, it will hurt this state. These provisions are bad for Georgia and bad for Georgians.
No matter how this bill is voted, it is my professional and my moral responsibility that when someone walks into my ER, I will not ask them, "Are you a U.S. citizen?" I will ask them, "Where do you hurt and how can I help you?" There must be another way to address the issue of the growing undocumented immigrant community in Georgia than by denying them health care.
How do we work on this very complex issue, keeping in mind the respect and dignity that must be paramount as well in these discussions of the immigrants that are providing this much needed labor. We're talking about human beings. They came here because they strongly believe in the American spirit, and we should make sure that we take that into consideration. So is it moral? Is it just what's happening? And even Governor Perdue has called it hypocritical how we treat immigrants in this country.
So there's a system there that works, but it works within the context of illegality, of undocumented people. What if we turned this around and made it legal, created a real standard according to the reality of what is going on, and then saying, okay, and you'll get paid better and you'll pay taxes better. The proposal that we have is the immigration laws are obsolete, they're not working, they're not functional, they're not reflecting reality. We need a total overhaul of the immigration laws, but we want that overhaul to be humane, logical, based on the reality of the needs of this country and the needs of the people, based on the fact that you're talking about people, not things, and not abstract objects. Illegal aliens is a wonderful word because it shows that they're coming from Mars or Jupiter or something, and so then you can separate yourself emotionally. If they are aliens, they have nothing to do with you.
The lasting thought, I think, would be to ensure that we take a lot of the energy and momentum that's building on this issue and translate that into electoral power. We need to make sure that we keep our community engaged in that process. Whether they're citizens, immigrants, they need to be engaged in the process. And in a democracy, everybody that contributes to this great country economically should be a part of the process, and that's what we're going to do to make sure that we move forward.
And we believe that this is just part of the movement. This is not a march is not by itself is not going to do anything. This is just like a way to do things, and we want to let everybody know that we are here. You know, we are supporting, we are not looking violence, we are looking just to stand up and say we are tired of being the target of this political struggle between the groups. You know, we are tired to be treated as a second-class citizen. We are tired to be ignored. We are tired to be racial profiled. We are tired to not to feel that we have earned our position, that we have earned what we have right now.